Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm going to guide you through a little bit of what we have as vision in terms of sustainability. It's not meant to be a lecture. It's more like a sharing vision that we have. So this is our campus. That's the first thing that I want to show you, which already in itself highlights the vision that we have in terms of sustainability. This is a real picture. It's not AI generated like another ones that I'm going to show you. So a little bit about myself, just very quickly. In addition to being the head of the Postgraduate Center at PUV and being senior lecturer in mathematics, so basically I'm as geek as you can get. I'm also more connected to the field of artificial intelligence for some time now. So I have my own company, and I've been connected to entrepreneurship, especially when connected to artificial intelligence for some time. That's basically the part that links both worlds in terms of me, BUV, and our vision, which is how do we move forward? How do we take this idea of sustainability a little bit forward? For that, and I want to show you some of the things that we have. If you look carefully at most of the images and layouts that I have in my presentation, all of them were AI generated. The key idea before we even move forward is understand sustainability in the three main pillars that we have. So basically we have the pillar in terms of planet, which is basically the most common one, the one that we talk about the most, the one that relates with recycling, with reusing and all of that. And then we have the planet, and then we have people. To be fair, most of the ones that we tend to emphasize a lot, or the most popular ones, still tend to be more related to planet, but the part about people, and especially the part how to connect that with profit, it's one of the ones that we tend to put a lot of stress on in terms of BUV, and also one of the ones that we try to emphasize in terms of innovation. So these will be the three main pillars that we're going to be looking at throughout the presentation, basically meaning like planet, people, and profit. A little bit of the current situation. I know some of the numbers we already know. I know most of us are completely aware about most of the statistics when it comes to especially the part that relates to planet. These are just some indicators. These indicators are very recent. If we look at the amount of energy that it's being used, and it's on a growing rate. It's already on the million terajoules. If we look at the amount of water that it's being spent, those are the numbers. Just looking at the US, the amount of waste that it's being used, the amount of, or the percentage of people that it's breathing what we call polluted air, the amount of trees that are being cut down, and also when we look at the impact of greenhouse gas effects and the extinction, which is all related with deforestation. The reason why I want to show numbers, it's not, well, it's usually to show what we call size of the problem, but it's also for you guys who are pitching, which is something that I always hold very close to me. These are challenges, meaning like this is stuff that we should be addressing instead of being afraid of it. As one of the keys for sustainability and one of the keys for the three pillars of sustainability actually comes from you, because it comes from innovation. Some of these ones, and I'll show you later in some of the slides, some of these key points. We had our own competition, our own pitching session in BUV, and we saw some people addressing, especially the one about energy, in very creative ways. I remember specifically the one about energy because we had one team presenting a battery that would store energy using banana peel. And that was something that we've never seen before. Those are the type of ideas. It might not be, when you take it to a pitch, it might not be fully ready, but by the time you finish the pitch, then you start to get more input on it, and basically it's going to get ready at a later stage. So basically look at these as challenges, something that could drive your next idea probably. In terms of the vision that we have, in terms of if that's the problem, where do we want to be? In each one of these, or in each one of the three main pillars, what is the real objective? And now we're thinking about worldwide. If we're talking about people, we want to have as many people as possible or as much as possible with basic access to what we consider to be clean water, what we consider to be food, healthcare, and focus on the last one, education, because that's going to be my pillar of all the other pillars. If we're talking about planet, we want to be able to make sure that we create something like what we have on the image on that side, which is a very sustainable, very balanced, very in tune kind of world. And the reality is you're all pitching for the same. You're pitching for the same profit, right? So it's a bit utopic to think that we can manage to build the first two without aligning with profit. And that's where the real ideas are going to come from. And that's truly the message that I wanted to leave with you. How can we align the other two, which are what we call the popular trend words, with what really drives us, which is the key idea for profit, right? Because that's where the $1 million is going to be. Well, that was before. I think now it's more about the $1 billion, right? This is the current status of Vietnam. The picture that you see on the right, it's not AI generated. It comes from one of the most widely accepted reports, which is a Sustainable Development Report. Data that you see there, it's from 2023. And you can see 17 different, what they call goals, and the status of Vietnam at this stage. So in each one of those items, you can see basically what's the current trend in terms of Vietnam, and also on top, you can see what's the current ranking and how does it rank even within Southeast Asia. When you look at Vietnam, you see improvement. There's a lot of economic growth, we all know that, but there's also a lot of improvement coming. However, there's still much to be done. And once more, the key thing is look at the challenges that you see there and try to understand how can I find a profitable way of pivoting that challenge into something that is going to make me make money, and it's also going to bring better life or better status to the people involved. The ones that I would like to highlight are number 14, 15, and 16, because they're all connected. The quality of water, the quality of air, and especially the last one relates with plastics. Sorry, not 16. 14 also relates with plastics as well. So how can we find a way? How can we look at most of the problems that we have and try to pivot from there? There's a lot of ideas. I can tell you there's several companies in Vietnam that are doing plastic that's solvable in water. There's a lot of ideas that are out there, but they all miss one point. The last P, profit. If it's still more expensive to make something that is sustainable, I'm sorry guys, but the idea is meant to go down. So the key challenge that you have from the innovation perspective is, how can I make it sustainable? How can I make it attractive, but at the same time profitable? And that's the next stage. 2 stages are done, 1 more. The challenges, as you can see, all relate to the same. By the way, there's one that it doesn't show there, but land and forests degradation is actually higher than what you see there in that one. And this relates to coffee plantations. This relates to all different types of massive crops that are being done without sometimes proper alignment, when profit comes above the rest. Also, the last one, climate change impacts. Every time I look at the rankings, I lived in 4 different countries before I came to Vietnam. Only one country where I lived is more prone to being affected by climate change than Vietnam, which is the Bahamas. I lived in the Bahamas before. But Vietnam is number 5 in terms of risk of being affected by climate change. So that shows the importance of welcoming new ideas and innovation. Stuff that we can do that it's small, that has an impact, very simple. Plant-based diet. the idea for plant-based diet, and some of these ideas are things that we can implement very quickly. You would see them on TikTok movies, you would see them on YouTube. These are immediate actions that we can take. Plant-based diet, only because of how much deforestation we need to do in order to have cattle and to have livestock. The car-free renewable energies, improving energy efficiency, recycling, all those things are small steps towards something. What I would like to highlight, by vintage, I like that one because for me vintage is already related with my old age. Compost, which we have Eco Vietnam there, which is one of the key things that we can do. We do it at BUV. But you can see that the supporting pillar for everything, two things: education, which leads to innovation. I cannot do what I don't know. That's basic, right? So again, my key highlight on all of this is going to be if there's a way to touch the 3 points at the same time, planet, people, and profit, if there's a way of touching it, education is the key, because then it's going to drive the rest. We can only act on what we know. In terms of the key things that I believe education is going to play a role, understanding, like I said, we can only act on what we know. Developing skills and values, innovation, technology, understanding what we need to fight for. More important, the last one, long-lasting solutions. Long-lasting solutions is what profit is all about. Meaning like the last P that you see on the pillars of sustainability relates to profit. Profit, not short-term profit, because that's what compromises, but long-term lasting solutions. I might not do it now, but I'll do it later. Compost is a good idea for that, and it's something that it's based on the same principle, right? Making sure that we create long-lasting solutions, it's exactly where education plays a major role. Understanding what a long-lasting solution is, and also learning to have the patience to wait for that long-lasting solution. At BUV, we integrate those pillars in our mission and values. So basically, when we design our mission and values, and as you can see, the campus is on the right, that's our campus. Our 4 key values align directly with the 3 pillars that we have. So basically, kindness and respect, which aligns with people, collaboration and innovation, which aligns with people and profit, sustainability and responsibility, learning and relearning. Those are the key elements in terms of mission value that we have. Sustainability in terms of planet, that shows directly into our campus. A few ideas and a few we talked about it. So basically, I had no idea you were going to be here, but the Eco Vietnam compost machine that we use on a regular basis, and efficiency and recycling is part of our core values. In terms of embedding those values into our curriculum, we have several different schools where those values are embedded directly, specifically when it comes to me, the MBA program, but these are also part of the activities that we do beyond the teaching part. So the Greenathon, which is very similar to what you guys are going to do today, which is pitching for a green idea, pitching for a green solution. We had it with a very nice panel. We had the first session last July, and we're going to have the new one this July. And there's so much in terms of ideas that we can take from there. The Health Prize, TEDx PUV, all of them looking at different pillars. So basically one looking more at the pillar of planet, and these looking more at the pillar of people and profit. And all of them related to entrepreneurship. Just a little bit more of us, our students in terms of sustainability and responsibility. What I wanted to leave you with in terms of just final message is there's what I can do on my own, meaning like those small actions that all aggregate, all compose together, they basically add up to something, which is recycling, which is trying to adjust to a safer or to a more sustainable lifestyle, but there's also measures that we can try to look for in a bigger picture. So basically, we're talking about combined public and private efforts, because only in that case we can look for why is it public and private effort better than just public or just private, long-lasting. This is the one that really is going to go for with a bigger perspective other than just a narrow-minded short-term perspective. Investing in ecotourism, which again, we're talking about long-lasting solutions, new standards across industries. One thing that it's clearly important, those last two combined, energy efficiency and zero carbon energy sources. That one, Vietnam still has some way to go. To be fair, it's not just Vietnam, everybody still has a long way to go, especially when it comes to storage. Once again, another idea for innovation. If you're talking about renewable energies, the long-standing problem, it's still storage of that energy. Either you have a very high efficient grid, or you're stuck. Even if you produce it during the day, you cannot use it during the night, right? So that's the key. And then the part that, again, relates to everything else, education. If we're looking into boosting and overcoming this problem, then education, basically consumers, and then also looking at technology and innovation are truly the key. The solution is going to come from you. It's going to come from situations like this one, where we tackle a problem, and probably not today, but with the input that you hear from it today, the input from the judges, from even talking to your competitors, something is going to come up. Or at least someone is going to have a different idea. There's real examples that work. I would like to show you just, some of these are not just talk, meaning like there's a few companies worldwide that apply it. I really like this example for Canada. There's Canada Oil Sands, which is a group of companies that combine together to try to minimize the impact on planet of their oil extraction. Basically, they were able to reduce their greenhouse effect. They are using satellite images and AI to look for new places to explore, minimizing soil erosion. And they're also using new initiatives, again, innovation, to try to capture carbon and store it from those extractions. So these things, once again, using innovation, using new technology, using new ideas, we can come up to something that becomes profit-oriented. And this is the key example. We're able to basically reduce net water use by 25%, reduce freshwater use by 46%, reduce footprint intensity by 6%, and reduce the production weighted average upstream of greenhouse gas reduced by 14%. All of these are an impact on the planet. The cool thing about this company is that revenue actually went up. But for that, you need long-lasting solutions. Just as a wrap-up, and the key things that I would like you to take from my speech before you guys get ready for your pitch. Strong partnerships are what usually helps us to achieve our goals. In a pitching session, like you have here, and this is about people. Pitching session, we're competitors, but ideas that we hear, feedback, is always welcome. The only way humankind had to evolve was via society. We're reaching a stage where the level of our network is just insane, right? So the more feedback we have, the more interaction we have, probably the better our ideas are going to be. Technology and innovation are the key. There's no other solution. It needs to come from us, but it needs to come from technology perspective. Decisions need to be long-term, and that's the part about profit, rather than just short-term gains. In essence, the only way we get that is via education. Education, not BUV only type of education, but what we call non-formal education. I can only act on what I know. And it's our role to educate as well, right? Media, networking, and once again, partnerships. We are the links that we create. Education helps basically then in all the rest. Helps to boost the part of people because inequality and gender equality as well, because That's where knowledge comes from. And the key idea is also using all of this. This is where we're going to get a more sustainable lifestyle. This links directly with what you guys are about to do now. Your pitching sessions should focus on that. How can I get something that shows innovation, that shows technology, but at the same time, remember, gain, revenue, business model. How can I make money out of it? Or how can I make an investor make money out of it? That's the key thing, right? Innovation comes from education. For my part, thank you very much and good luck.